A very warm welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Shanakshi Chakravarti. The big story that we're tracking all through the day, and at the top of this hour, Rahul Gandhi grilled for over 10 hours in the National Herald case. The ED has summoned Rahul Gandhi again on Tuesday. Now, through the day, this is what we saw. The visuals on your screen are telling that the Congress staged protests across the country against what they alleged was a vendetta by the Narendra Modi government. Senior Congress leaders including P. Chidambaram, Digvijay Singh, Ashok Gehlot, Bhupesh Baghel took part in the Satyagraha march. In a show of strength, the Congress was out on the streets in full force to support its party leader. There were chaotic scenes when Priyanka Gandhi Vadra reached the Tughlaq Road police station in the national capital to meet party leaders, including Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot and Congress General Secretary K.C. Venugopal. Top Congress leaders who have been detained in police stations as well. So the BJP says it's a drama. Why shouldn't Rahul be questioned? The BJP says nobody is above the law, while the Congress says that this is a clear case of political vendetta by the Narendra Modi government against the Gandhis. I'm joined by my colleague Arvind Gunasekar for more on this, who has been tracking the details of the story on the ground very closely. Arvind, Rahul Gandhi has been questioned for nearly 10 hours. The questioning, as we are made to understand, is over. He is likely to walk out of the ED office any time now. What are you picking up and what is expected?
Sonakshi, the questioning of Rahul Gandhi is still underway here at the Enforcement Directorate office here, the national capital. Rahul Gandhi arrived at the enforcement office early in the day, somewhere around 11:30 a.m. and he was questioned for 3 hours in the first half of the day, and then he was allowed to go out for lunch to his residence, and then there was this lunch break of 1 hour wherein he went and he met his mother at the Gangaram Hospital, post which he arrived at the enforcement office somewhere close to 3:30 p.m. and the questioning, the second part of the questioning started somewhere around 3:30 p.m. and it's still continuing. That is over 10 hours and continuing. The questioning is still underway. So what we are being told is that the agency is grilling Rahul Gandhi on the nature of transactions between Young Indian Limited and also Associated Journal Limited. And what we are being told is that because the set of questions that the agency prepared for Rahul Gandhi has not been completed today, and that's why the agency has again asked him to come tomorrow. But today's the questioning is still underway.
All right, Arvind. So you are reporting to us that the ED is still questioning Rahul Gandhi. So are we made to believe that that he is still not out of the ED office yet? He hasn't exited the ED office yet?
No, Sonakshi is still being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate, and he is still very much here at the Enforcement Directorate office.
All right, Arvind, we will be coming back to you for all the latest developments over there. So, Rahul Gandhi over there being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate in the National Herald case. We will be tracking the details of that. But moving on to other stories that have been making headlines through the day ahead of the presidential polls, a series of meetings among opposition parties suggests that the search for a consensus candidate is intensifying and the opposition may have come up with a masterstroke. There is speculation that the former Union Minister Sharad Pawar, he could emerge as the opposition's consensus candidate. My colleague Sanket Upadhyay with all the details.
So the race for Raisina Hill has now begun. This is the race for the president elections. But in the opposition camp, is there a fair degree of Pawar play? Will the Maratha strongman Sharad Pawar be the opposition's candidate? Well, Congress President Sonia Gandhi has sent an emissary to NCP Chief Sharad Pawar. Senior Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge met NCP Chief Sharad Pawar. Kharge also spoke to Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray and Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin. Kharge had met Pawar on Thursday with a message from Sonia Gandhi, and the Shiv Sena could it also throw its weight behind Sharad Pawar, which is highly likely as of this moment, given that Sharad Pawar is from Maharashtra and traditionally the Shiv Sena has gone for a candidate from Maharashtra. Now, Kharge also spoke to West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee over the phone. Mamata Banerjee has called for a meeting at the Constitution Club on the 15th of June. Aam Aadmi Party Sanjay Singh also met the NCP Chief Sharad Pawar on Sunday. So, if you keep these things in mind, one would get a fair amount of idea could this all be leading to Sharad Pawar's name as the consensus candidate of the opposition for the post of president? But a fair degree of response from the government as well, from the BJP. The BJP has authorized JP Nadda and Rajnath Singh to hold discussions. Now these discussions will take place with not just NDA but UPA constituents as well. There is an attempt to build a consensus on the candidate. Now if you recall, in 2017 BJP had nominated Mr. Rajnath Singh and Venkaiah Naidu for this exercise. Later Venkaiah Naidu was named the NDA's vice presidential candidate. Now in case of no consensus, the BJP is also preparing for elections where they will have their own candidate. Now there is speculation around many names, but no one has been confirmed by the party. Let's now look at the math as far as the presidential polls are concerned. On the basis of electoral college, votes of MLAs and MPs constitute this electoral college. The vote value of each MLA actually varies. It depends on the state population and the number of assembly seats. The total electoral votes are 4,809, which is a combination of MPs and MLAs, and the strength of the electoral college is 10,86,431. The candidates who crosses the 50% mark in the election wins and becomes the president. Now NDA is 13,000 votes away from that majority mark, and in 2017 they were short. But the TRS, YSR Congress and the Biju Janata Dal supported the NDA candidate. Will they do that this time around is a suspense.
The Delhi High Court turned down the plea of CPM's Brinda Karat to allow a police case against BJP MPs Anurag Thakur and Parvesh Verma today over hate speeches delivered in 2020 during protests against the CAA, which is the Citizenship Amendment Act. The High Court, however, issued strong remarks on the subject of hate speech, especially by political leaders, calling hate speech the starting point of attacks ranging from discrimination to exclusion, deputation and even genocide against a targeted community. The court said it is not appropriate for leaders to engage in such acts or speeches. Meanwhile, two youth Congress workers reportedly wearing black shirts raised slogans against Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan inside a flight in which he was travelling from Kannur to Thiruvananthapuram on Monday. Youth Congress State Vice President and former MLA K.S. Sabirinathan, released a 3-second video on social media in which the two workers of the organisation were seen raising slogans against the Chief Minister, seeking Vijayan's resignation, and a man who accompanied the Chief Minister pushed them away. Shifting focus to COVID in India, the daily COVID cases have doubled in a week. The 7-day average daily cases triples in 4 weeks. So that is definitely a concern. India certainly needs to mask up. Remember, there are several guidelines that have already come into place by health experts and the ministry saying that daily COVID cases are on the rise and we really need to start masking up. Shifting focus to market news now, dropping for the third straight session, the rupee depreciated by 11 paise to close at a fresh lifetime low of 78.4 against a US dollar on Monday as a global market meltdown and stronger greenback overseas weighed on investor sentiment. Sensex sheds over 1,500 points, leading to inflation concerns looming large. Priyanshi with the details.
The urban population didn't see much of a relief. Urban inflation was in fact 7.08%, almost the same as 7.09% in April. What really took down the inflation figure is rural inflation, which witnessed a sharp decline from 8.38% in April to 7.01% in May. So almost all the price relief was felt in rural India. Now, other possible reasons behind the relief are fuel excise duty cuts by the central government and a rate hike by the Reserve Bank in the month of May. Now, food inflation is down to 7.97% compared to 8.31% last month. But it's important to note that we're not in a comfortable state just yet. Inflation is still very high compared to May last year when it stood at 6.3%. It's still much above RBI's comfort level of 6%. In fact, it has been above 6% for the past 5 months. And as we know, the Reserve Bank expects inflation to stay above 6% till December. So the worst might not be over just yet. Now let's look at the categories that are hurting budget budgets the most. The prices of essentials for all of us, fuel and light inflation is at the highest at 9.5%, followed by clothing and footwear at 8.8%, followed by food and beverages at 7.8%. Now, soaring prices mean that the same amount of your money can now buy less goods. But your money is losing its value in another way as well. Rupee tanked to a record low of 78 against the dollar today. Now, this is the first time the rupee has gone beyond 78 per dollar. Our currency has been consistently losing its value since January this year and down by 4.8% since January. Now, why is this happening? Global fears of sharp rate hikes and further inflation are dragging foreign funds out of India and raising the demand of the dollar, which is seen as a secure currency. This has taken the dollar to a 2-decade high, hence reducing the value of the rupee in comparison. Now, right amid summer vacations, this means that our foreign travel gets more expensive along with education and also our imports.
Shifting focus to global markets have also witnessed a bloodbath. Sakshi takes us through the details. Take a look.
It's not just Indian stock markets. We have just witnessed a broad-based sell-off on Wall Street as well. The S&P 500 has in fact fallen into the bear market territory, defined as a 20% drop from a market peak. Wall Street stocks stumbled in anticipation of more Federal Reserve monetary tightening this week. Experts believe at least 50 basis point is an increase of 50 basis point is in sight, and they also see a further 75 basis points rise expected in September. Remember, investors are still digesting the 40-year high US inflation data, and fears of more and more money leaving equities and moving to the debt market are globally on the rise. European markets have also shut shop over 2% lower as traders fear a persistent slowdown now.
Shifting focus to Bangalore, actor Shakti Kapoor's son Siddhant has been arrested for allegedly taking drugs during a party at a Bengaluru hotel. The police have confirmed. Acting on a tip-off, the police raided the party at the Park Hotel and sent samples of around 35 guests for medical tests. 5 guests tested positive for drugs and Siddhant Kapoor was one of them, the officials have confirmed. Siddhant Kapoor was invited as a DJ at the party. 5 more people have been taken into custody as well.
In a sensational drug party bus case, Bollywood actor Shakti Kapoor's son Siddhant Kapoor was detained by Bengaluru police on Sunday late night for consuming drugs. Siddhant, who is a professional DJ, was invited by the pub organizer. Based on a tip-off that drugs were being consumed, Siddhant along with 4 others were arrested after they had tested positive for drugs.
We have one person by name Siddhant Kapoor, who supposedly is Shakti Kapoor's son, in our custody.
Also, did you find any drugs in their possession?
In their possession, no, but in the premises we found MDMA tablets and ganja.
As a part of a continuous crackdown on drug menace, the raid took place inside a pub at the Park Hotel located on MG Road in the heart of the city. And among the 35 tested for consumption of drugs, 5 tested positive. We understand 5 people have been taken into custody. Interrogation is on, and also the police confirms to us that they have been registered under the NDPS Act of 22A, 22B and 27B. Also further investigations are on with respect to Siddhant Kapoor, who is the son of Shakti Kapoor, as to understand how long he's been here in Bangalore, because at this very party he was playing the DJ, and at the time of the raid we understand the police also says that all the 5 they did not really have they were not in possession of the drugs, but they had consumed drugs, and that they had tested positive. Out of 35 of the samples that were sent, 5 came out positive. This includes Shakti Kapoor's son Siddhant Kapoor. In Bengaluru with camera person Kumar, Shrija for NDTV.
And a day after the bungalow of politician Javed Mohammed, who the Prayagraj police has say is the main accused or the mastermind in last Friday's violence in parts of the city, was razed using bulldozers, many unanswered questions remain around the administration's actions. Alok Pandey and Rajesh Gupta with this report.
पूरी पुलिस फोर्स जावेद मोहम्मद के घर पर मौजूद हो चुकी है। बहुत ही जल्दी यहाँ पर ध्वस्तीकरण की कार्रवाई शुरू होने वाली है। A day after the house of Javed Mohammed, who the police are calling the main accused or the mastermind in their words, for last Friday's violence that took place in Prayagraj, was brought down by bulldozers. It's all quiet here, but there are many unanswered questions that remain about this entire episode. Before I come to that, I'd like to show you what happened over here. This used to be the bungalow of Javed Mohammed and his family, and they used to live here. Right now it's all reduced to rubble. The Prayagraj administration says all procedure was followed before the demolition and a month's notice for illegal construction given. But many questions remain over the action. The lawyer and family of Javed Mohammed say the home is in the name of Javed's wife and not Javed himself, and so the demolition was illegal. The family says that contrary to the administration's claim of a month's notice for illegal construction, the only notice given was the night before the demolition. Javed's lawyers have asked if the demolition was routine procedure, as the administration claims, then how many similar homes were razed on Sunday? I'm at the offices of the Prayagraj Development Authority that carried out the demolition at the home of Javed Mohammed. This is the office of Ajay Kumar. Ajay Kumar is the gentleman whose signatures are on the notice that was given to Mr. Javed Mohammed and his family. I tried to meet with him. He refused to take any of our questions and said that he's not authorized to speak with the media.
विकास प्राधिकरण के द्वारा जो अवैध निर्माण है जावेद पंप का, इनका जो अवैध निर्माण था उसको निर्धारित प्रक्रिया का पालन करते हुए नोटिस वगैरह की सारी कार्रवाई करते हुए ये जो अवैध निर्माण था आज उसका डेमोलिशन किया है.
Prayagraj's police chief has claimed at least 2 illegal weapons were recovered from the now razed home during a check before the demolition, and that Javed used WhatsApp messages to incite last Friday's violence. The family and lawyer of Javed dispute this.
देखिए, जब हमारा घर डिमोलिश हो रहा था उस वक्त पूरी लाइव ब्रॉडकास्ट चल रही थी, निकलती तो उस वक्त हमारी फ़ोटोज़ ना दिखाकर शायद वो लोग मीडिया वाले उस वक्त उन चीज़ों पे हाईलाइट ज़्यादा करते. ये तो मतलब सोचने वाली बात है कि अचानक से मलबे के अंदर से ये सब चीज़ें कैसे निकल रही हैं. जब घर खाली कर रहे थे तब क्या उनको ये सब चीज़ें नहीं दिख रही थी? आप उनका खुद फेसबुक अकाउंट खोलकर उनका लास्ट पोस्ट देखेंगे तो उसमें उन्होंने अमन की चैन की अपील करी है.
अगर इलाहाबाद में सुनवाई में किसी तरह का विलम्ब होगा तो हम सीधे सुप्रीम कोर्ट में मैटर को ले जाएंगे, क्योंकि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जहांगीरपुरी वाले मसले में तमाम डिमोलिशन के प्रक्रिया पर रोक लगाई है.
The police initially claimed they were also investigating the role of Javed's elder daughter, JNU student and activist Afreen Fatima, but now say they do not have proof.
उसके बाद से लगातार हमारी जो इन्वेस्टिगेटिव टीम है वो काम कर रही थी. सबूत मिलते ही कार्रवाई कर दी जाएगी. बिना सबूत के अभी कोई कार्रवाई नहीं होगी.
The police say their focus now is on swift investigation in the case. In Prayagraj with Nitin Gupta and camera person Rajesh Gupta, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
1 month on, Kashmiri Pandit protests continue as Pandits demand relocation to Jammu till terrorism ends. 22 civilians have been killed in the last 5 months in the valley. A candlelight vigil to mark 1 month of Kashmiri Pandit protests after killing of Rahul Bhatt. My colleague Nazir with this report.
Candlelight vigil to mark 1 month of Kashmiri Pandit protests after the killing of Rahul Bhatt. Confined to transit camps in the valley, the migrant Pandit employees held a day-long hunger strike and pledged to fight for their relocation to Jammu.
Do hereby pledge that we will take over.
Pandits say they will return to their duties in the valley only after the government finishes militancy, so that there is no fear of being targeted.
कब तक हम लोगों को बेसिकली गेट के जो 4 दीवारों के अंदर रखोगे? कहीं ना कहीं तो संज्ञान लेना पड़ेगा सरकार को इसके बारे में. हम डिमांड क्या कर रहे हैं? हम डिमांड सिंपल कर रहे हैं कि हमें अटैच करिए. तब तक करिए जब तक आपके हालात यहाँ पर ठीक नहीं होते. आप कल की डेट में हालात ठीक करिए तो कल की डेट में हम वापस आएंगे.
Over 4,000 Pandit employees who had returned as part of Prime Minister's special employment package since 2010 have refused to attend their duties for the last 1 month. Most of them have already left the valley and shifted to Jammu. Those who are still in transit camps say they cannot even step outside their camps for
All right, we have to bring breaking news to our viewers at this point. That is Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, who seems to have exited the ED office after nearly 10 hours of questioning by the Enforcement Directorate. Those are visuals on your screen of Rahul Gandhi, who has exited the ED office. Remember, the ED had summoned Rahul Gandhi for the National Herald case. He has been questioning in that case. And again, the ED has summoned Rahul Gandhi on Tuesday. Let's go straight across to my colleague Arvind Gunasekar, who has been tracking the details of that story on the ground. Arvind, we can see visuals of Rahul Gandhi exiting the ED office after nearly 10 hours of questioning. What are you learning? What can you share with us?
Actually, after over 10 hours of questioning on day one, Rahul Gandhi has just left the Enforcement Directorate office. He was questioned. His questioning started from 11:30 a.m. in the morning, and then after a 1 hour of lunch break, again it resumed somewhere close to 3:30 p.m. And only by 11:30, Rahul Gandhi exited the Enforcement Directorate office. That is over 10 hours of questioning on day one. And what we are being told is that because there are a few more questions that the agency has to ask Rahul Gandhi in this particular case. That's why they have again asked him to appear before the officials tomorrow. We are not sure at what time he has been asked to appear, because today the questioning has gone on at least till 11:30 p.m. and that's why the agency in all likelihood will give some kind of time relief for him. So we have to wait and watch at what time he has been asked to appear before the agency officials tomorrow. But the agency has said that still some more questions have to be asked to Rahul Gandhi, and that's why they have again asked him to join the investigation tomorrow.
All right, Arvind, just a quick question on Rahul Gandhi being summoned again by the ED on Tuesday. What is likely to happen? What are you picking up from ED sources? Will it go as long as today as it did?
So actually it all depends on the kind of questions that the agency prepares for day two, because today's questioning, his answers will also be examined by the agency officials, and based on his answers, questions will also be framed for tomorrow. So it all depends on the kind of questions and the number of questions that the agency plans to ask Rahul Gandhi. So we have to wait for tomorrow to exactly see how long the questioning will happen.
All right, Arvind, thanks very much for joining us at this moment.